Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. While scrolling through the Naruto feed, I had an interesting video idea regarding if Naruto was adopted by the Uchiha right after the Kyuubi attack. Now I know that scenario seems far-fetched, especially when certain characters will firmly put their foot down and say no. But for simplicity's sake, we'll have to overlook this fact because this is a what-if scenario. Although I had to change some things that'll make it make sense. First, the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi is not going to tell the council of Naruto's Jinchuriki status, meaning Danzo won't be aware of it as well, or at least initially. Second, Kushina and Mikoto are going to be very close friends, to the point where they seem like family. They'd be so close that Kushina would appoint Mikoto to be Naruto's godmother. From these changes, a lot of things are going to be different. Now let's get started. Mikoto Uchiha received the unfortunate news of her friend's death, and the unexpected attack of the Nine-Tailed Fox, or Kyuubi for short. She mourned the loss of her friend. Upon visiting the gravesite Kushina and Minato, she noticed there was a missing name. Kushina's newborn child, Naruto, she remembered. She immediately went to search for him in the most probable of places. She had two immediate spots in mind, either the hospital or the orphanage. First, she visited the hospital and tried to get as much info of Naruto's whereabouts as possible, but that was not to be. It's been a couple days since the attack, and parentless children have already been moved to the orphanages. But luckily for her, she got the info she needed about Naruto's whereabouts. Naruto was already transferred to an old orphanage, being cared for by the associates working there. Upon arriving in the orphanage, she laid eyes on the child and knew deep down to her core this was truly Kushina and Minato's child. The whisker marks were a bit odd, but she was just glad that he was healthy and safe. After confirming that fact, she was prepared to go home. But something stopped her. Her guilt. She felt responsible for her godson. She couldn't just abandon him knowing she could do something about it. She had already made up her mind to adopt him, but it would help if she had the support of her family as well. She returned home and announced her attention to her family. While her oldest son Itachi was good with the decision, her husband was at first reluctant with it, but she was able to convince him after giving him her reasons. After filling out the necessary paperwork, Naruto is now named Naruto Uchiha. Bringing him to her home, she introduced Naruto to his new family. Her husband Fugaku acknowledged the new addition to the family. Her oldest son Itachi was curious and intrigued about his new little sibling, and quickly accepted him as part of the family. And the youngest child, being obviously a toddler, didn't have much of a reaction besides just cutely babbling. With the new addition to the family, the dynamic of the Uchiha will be very different. First is Naruto's attitude being quite different from the original. Since his Jinchuriki status is not known to the public, and he's being raised by an actual family, his attention-seeking attitude will not be present in the story. He actually takes a bit more after his biological father, but his mother's personality traits is still present from time to time, which makes sense considering he's being raised by a cool-headed family. Bits of his mother comes out here and there, but rarely. Sasuke is going to pretty much be the same, but he's going to be more social around Naruto, and they'll have more of a true brother-like relationship. And Itachi will just be Itachi. Mikoto and Fugaku will remain as they were in the original, and the Uchihas will still be Uchihas. Growing up with the Uchihas was certainly interesting. From a very young age, Naruto was made aware of the fact that he was adopted to avoid any confusion in the near future on why he looked very different to his family. When he received the news, at first he was sad and asked if they still consider him as a family. Mikoto hugged him and made sure that he knew that he was considered a family no matter what and that he was loved. The kids both had preference in who their favorite parents are. While Sasuke loved his mother very much, he was still seeking his father's validation. While Naruto loved both of his parents, he was fully happy just getting attention from his mother. Growing up together, Naruto and Sasuke were inseparable. They did everything together. Train, eat, sleep. You honestly wouldn't find one without the other. Just as it was in the original, Naruto and Sasuke still have their rivalry. They compete against each other in any way they can, even the most minuscule of tasks. Naruto even announced his famous quote, of course, of wanting to be Hokage, and wanting to keep up the competition. Sasuke says he will be a better and stronger Hokage. This spurs each other on in their training, especially when their either Itachi was involved. They always competed for his attention, willing to do the most to spend time with their older brother. With two children constantly asking him to hang out and train, it was at first difficult for Itachi to balance out his shinobi life with his personal life. But he found an effective method by utilizing the Shadow Clone. Similarly to what he did during his academic years, he leaves behind the Shadow Clones to make some time with his siblings. Upon seeing the technique, they were awestruck and instantly wanted to learn the technique. Itachi smiled at their enthusiasm and innocent reaction, but he refused their request seeing as they were very young and he didn't want to risk teaching small children a joining level technique. But of course he did teach some of the basic of shinobi art such as the tree and water walking exercises, along with some hand-to-hand combat techniques, but from that alone he set a good foundation for them to develop the shinobi skills, and Shisui also helping with training added a huge boost to their skills. With both of them being Uchihas, they both learned the Great Fireball Jutsu. At this point in the story, Naruto and Sasuke are currently both 6 years old, with Sasuke just being a couple months older, and they're way more skilled compared to their original counterparts, especially Naruto. He's come a long way. With proper guidance from such a prodigious family, his talents were able to shine, kind of like a certain somebody from an alternate future. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Leaf Village, things over the years haven't been going smoothly since the attack of the Kyuubi. Because of the lack of essential information regarding the attack, the villagers' hate and anger have been festering with no place or persons directed towards. And many leaders know that a village, especially a military-based one, with no sense of unity can lead it down a destructive path. And Danzo was well aware of that fact. He needed their anger directed towards something. He needed a scapegoat. His best bet was the Uchihas. During their Kyuubi attack, his agents have reported seeing the Sharingan in the Kyuubi's eyes, implying it was being controlled by an Uchiha. Upon receiving that information, he realized he can capitalize on that. But it won't be as simple as that. But some things have already been set in place by his late sensei Tobirama, such as moving the Uchihas in the outskirts of the village and appointing them as the police force. This had the intended effect of isolating the Uchihas from the village, and the village to be kind of wary of them. And if you could spread that info that it was an Uchiha that caused the village attack, then he could finally achieve the unity he's been wanting. While there isn't a good way of going about it, he doesn't care. For the sake of village, he's willing to do whatever it takes. Back to the Uchihas. Naruto and Sasuke are about to start the academy, and are pretty excited about it. It's one step closer to being shinobis. They've trained for this, expecting the academy to be a great challenge. Mikoto took us on to school for the first day. While walking through the village, they couldn't help but notice the stares they were receiving. Mikoto, being an adult, could decipher the wariness in the villagers' eyes. While both Naruto and Sasuke knew there was something off, they couldn't fully understand. But it didn't bother them. Nothing was going to ruin this day for them. It was their first official steps to being shinobis. Upon starting the academy, they were already a cut above the rest. They both cemented themselves as top of the class. With Naruto and Sasuke constantly competing against each other, they had a certain drive that most kids their age didn't, and it showed in their results. Then came that fateful night. Naruto and Sasuke were late getting home because they had some last-minute training after finishing their school days. When walking inside the compound, they noticed how dark it was. While it was late, the compound is usually never this dark. Not a single light was lit. The only form of light was a full moon shining over them. When turning to the next corner, they came upon a horrific sight. Corpses littered the streets. Fear overtook them. The child instinct kicked in, and they both ran to the safest spot they could think of, home. But in the journey there, the horror grew. For every corner they turned, they saw their clan members and neighbors in a pool of their own blood. They finally arrived home. Not even bothering to remove their footwear before stepping inside, they quickly rushed, calling out to their parents. But no luck. They searched in every room except for their parents' room. When approaching the final door, the fear and foreboding feeling they felt earlier increased. It felt suffocating even. Their arms felt heavy. They couldn't open the door. Naruto mustered up enough bravery to abruptly open the door, and what they saw shattered their world. Their parents laid in a pool of their own blood, and their older brother standing over their corpse with a bloody blade. In pure denial, they tried asking their brother what happened and who was the culprit, but Itachi wasn't letting him have it. He confessed that he killed the whole clan as a testament to his power. He wanted to see the limit of it. This caused Naruto and Sasuke to snap, but in different ways. For Sasuke, the trauma and turmoil over the fact that the person he looked up to and admired the most did this to their own family. Itachi gave Sasuke the same speech as he did in the original. And as for Naruto, he felt the same, but also accompanied by this hot boiling anger he's never felt before. But before giving into his anger, he asked Itachi how can he do this? And Itachi opened up an open insecurity of Naruto by telling him that he wasn't even part of this family. He wasn't even a true Uchiha. He meant nothing to him, so this is none of his business. This finally sends both boys over the edge. Sasuke awakens his Sharingan out of rage for what Itachi said to his brother, and Naruto finally gave in to the build-up of rage and tapped into the Kyuubi chakra for the first time. They both attack Itachi, but to no avail. Even with the newfound powers, there was still no match for their older brother. Itachi decimated them and used the Tsukuyomi and made them experience what Sasuke did in the original. Before passing out, they saw their older brother standing ominously over them. But little do they know the emotional turmoil he was going through over what he just did, especially the trauma he placed in the two most important people in the world to him.